Today's gratitude, real friendship, and he did what with his mom? All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do.
My favorite part that you've started singing the do 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 do's is you're off key every fucking time.
Well, nobody ever said I could sing. You're
We
the
don't.
singer.
It's not that you're off. You know how to sing on key. It's just yes. It's just that yes. It's just that we don't play the show music, gang. We just barrel through the record and put the music in later. So it's not like you have it like queued up with a whoo or whatever the note is that it's supposed to start on. And it's not like, honestly, that's not my jam. So I don't really listen to the show music throughout my life to know even what the starting note is. I probably could figure it out.
I don't know. I have a great ear for music, but a terrible voice for it.
I think that's horse shit. I hear you sing all the time. And you know what? You know what? I'm going to have to do this thing that you do to me. Oh, turnabout is so mean. I'm going to have to do this thing that you do to me.
Yeah.
And start recording you before you know you're recording you. And then
you
we'll
don't
have
like it when I throw you up there?
Well, I don't like necessarily being recorded when I'm being recorded. I certainly don't want to be recorded when I don't know what's going on.
Good point.
Okay. I've had a lot of, hot mic, hot room, hot mic. Truthfully, it's usually not me. I'm usually the one trying to go in there and break it up because we'll, mic the whole room and then people will be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and his mother's a bitch. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop the clock.
In any event. So the, I was telling you about singing and how funny it is. I hear you sing every morning, including this morning, this morning. And it's beautiful and delightful and super fun and filled with holiday and Broadway sparkles. So I'm super over you with this bullshit. It's super bullshit, gang. Hang on, gang. Top secret time. I'm adding a new topic to the board.
Dear listener.
So you shut up. So listen. So we may have once or twice mentioned that we were all in a music group in college. You may have heard us mention this ad nauseum. The D sharps from the University of Delaware. So that's D sharp is a note. It's super cute. We're fun. We're sharp. It's a pun. Great. Okay. University of Delaware D sharps. We founded this group. We sang. It's great. We're still fantastic. I don't know why you were not in this group.
Because I can't fucking sing.
You're a chicken shit. Okay. With the highest and truest, frankly, most profound levels of respect to all my D-sharp sisters. That ain't really a requirement. You've been to our concerts, and God bless you, ladies. There's been one or two who we really love a lot. Okay?
Who shall remain nameless.
Okay. So, the ones who can sing, go on and keep singing throughout their whole life, and that's fantastic, and we cheer them on, and they're great, and they're fucking world beaters. And the ones who can't sing are so much fun, and we love them anyway. It's a crowd. You can be in the back. You could just mouth it. But listen, that's all bullshit. I've heard you fucking sing. Fucking sing.
You know what I can do? Ba-doom-chaka. That I can do.
Look at. That shit's hard. I know you think it's funny. I know you think it's easy. It is difficult. That's super difficult to do that kind of beatboxing, I believe is what it is. I haven't done it in 1,000 years.
How was your week?
Oh, it's just so great. Oh, my God. It's so great. It's really, honestly, I feel like I had a 2020 week. It's been that great. I'm fitting right in. I'm finally in a groove where I'm doing everything exactly the 2020 way. Okay? It's all shit. 100% down in the toilet of the depths. In the curved part of the toilet tube. What's that thing called? Of the pipe. The U-bend. I'm floating in the U-bend, baby. That's how far in the toilet I am.
With feces?
Yes, but it's not even. You sit in there with the feces, and then there's a continual flush of fresh feces coming at you.
On
it's
that
so great.
super, super positive note, I'm going to start with today, the thing for which I am grateful. Okay?
We're doing gratitude? Got it.
Today's moment of gratitude is, hey, I'm not in that U-bend. Let's start there.
There you go. See? I bring joy to everybody.
Yeah.
Through contrast.
I'm not in that U-bend. I have previously discussed that I have a musical in my head at all times, a number from a musical. Mm-hmm. And this morning, I don't know, I think it was on Facebook. I think it was Crit's uncle, Paul, who posted Jonathan Groff singing Anything Goes, the Sutton Foster Anything Goes.
Yeah, okay.
So,
First of all, I every single one of those words until anything goes, I'm like, that's something I recognize. It's like a different language. So anything goes. Got it. Sing. Go.
really?
Yeah.
So every year there's this musical thing. It's a miscast. So people who like men sing women's parts. It's just like a Broadway.
Oh, it's a super fun mashup,
Yes.
mix up. Let's
And
play. Got
Broadway amuses itself, and people
Aw.
pay money to hear it. Now I'm assuming they don't have it so much anymore.
Oh.
But he did Sutton Foster's Anything Goes, and between the tap dancing and the fact that Jonathan Groff is just fucking delightful, for those of you who aren't aware, he was King George in Hamilton.
Oh, the spit guy. I love him. He's
So,
really good.
He's
Super
phenomenal.
talented.
He's
I'd like to see him
phenomenal.
do something other than, one song.
How
Because
about
that's all it
Anything
took.
Goes?
That's all it took in
Right.
Hamilton. That's all it took.
same tune,
3
three
minutes.
tunes, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So if you would like to just, I don't know, YouTube that experience, he was phenomenal.
One
And
of my great gratitudes is whenever I need to just completely disassociate, I tend to go to these really fluffy, light, silly, stupid, pull you away fantasy movies. And one of them is Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day. Have you ever seen this?
I have
And
a long time ago.
It's got, for whatever reason, it popped up and I'm like, done. Because the romantic comedies, the real problem I have with romantic comedies is it's a lot like a Pixar movie. Somewhere in there, they have to make or Disney. Bambi's mom has to die for
Right.
dramatic. It's like that. You know what? No, she didn't. We could just live in the forest. That's enough conflict. I don't really need this much drama and tension in my cartoons. So Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day. There's never any moment that's really that bad.
Right.
For as horrible as it is, you're still like bouncy, bounce, 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 bounce along, bouncy, bounce. So, and they keep singing is one of the refrains in there. Anything goes, and they go, and because it's set in that time period. It's very bouncy. It's very fun. Love it.
I loved it, and it put a huge smile on my face. I do have another grateful.
Bring it.
I don't mean to brag, folks, but here's my grateful. My daughter starts driving, and today's her first lesson. And today I'm grateful she has a lesson with somebody that's not.
I was going to
her
say, are you
parents.
grateful that it's not you? Because I was
Yeah.
hoping it was not you. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I've taken her out and she's slow and good, right? She's slow and good. The way her brother was fast and not as good. But he's a great driver now. So he got there eventually. So to have somebody else out there with her and her, it's funny. He got angry when he was driving. When we would correct him or say, okay, too far to the right, too far to the right, he would get angry at us and say, all right, I know. And it was like an argument. For her, she all of a sudden has a British accent.
What?
When she panics or stresses, she puts on a British accent and talks to you and says, I can't with a British accent, but she says, okay, I'll go this way more. And she does it with an accent, which
How
I think is
many Harry Potter movies has she been binging to pick this up?
She's obsessed, but she did it years and years ago.
Coming, Mom. Yeah, I love
Did I ever
this.
tell you the story of how we went out with a college friend of my husband's and his second wife and their two little tiny Peruvian babies?
Oh,
So there are these two little boys. We're sitting in Miami at dinner with them, and I mean they're so sweet and little. Maybe they are 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. They're tiny. To me, that's tiny. And Mallory's been talking to them with a Russian accent the whole time. They met her for the first time.
because being in America when you're Peruvian is not tricky enough. Okay.
They met her for the first time, and she's just had a Russian accent from hello till I lean in and I listen to what the kids on the other
super
end
love
of the
this.
table are saying.
Oh, I want this for me.
And she says to them, I come to country in suitcase. And their eyes got so wide. They just looked at her like, what? I come here with holes in suitcase, difficult to breathe. And she starts telling them how
Only beats.
How
Only
we-
beats for breakfast.
how we brought her here in luggage.
And how old? You told me, but how old
They're
was
like-
she?
She was 10.
So help the people with no kids. What grade is that? Is that
Fifth,
second
maybe?
grade? Okay, I don't even
Fifth
fucking
grade?
remember. I've got a 12-year-old. I don't remember how old his 10 is in grades.
So she's just these kids are like, Mom, like they're pulling on her shirt, like pretty much off her body as the grown-ups on the other end of the table are talking. Mom, she came here in suitcase.
That's
Like,
right. She's your new nanny.
So she now talks in a British accent when she's stressed out, and I fucking love it.
I love her. I
guess that's something else for which I'm grateful.
I want this in my life. That's fantastic.
Yeah. What about you? What's your grateful moment?
Oh, well,
Nobody flushed?
No, it is truly a grateful. It is looking at the situation from the other side and just finding a smile. So, of the one thing that comes to mind, because I just filled up a cup in the kitchen, so I'm reminded that 2 days ago when I was standing in the kitchen, we have one of those gooseneck faucets, like an industrial style with a big old stainless steel coil that covers the gooseneck. It's pretty prominent. And we've got these really dramatic, large, brass, honestly gigantic, oversized pendants. It's hard to even call them pendants because they're like, I don't know, 3-foot boxes. They're gigantic, 3 of them suspended right over the sink and over the island. So I grab the gooseneck faucet because I'm just going to rinse some things off and go about my day. And when I do grab it to disconnect it, it says, "Did you want to disconnect the faucet?" Sure. And it goes, and the entire faucet comes off in my hand and starts spraying water all over me, all over the counter, and right up into the turned on brass electrified pendants that are going to crash down and kill you. And oh my God, and I'm just stood there stupefied, because the emphasis on the stupid, stupefied for a good minute before I turned the water off, because I was so stunned at what had just fucking happened. And I think it was pre-coffee. The whole thing, I was just standing there like, what now? And I couldn't think to grab the faucet. Like, it wasn't, okay, the building is burning down. And instead of saying, get out of the building, I'm going, would you look at that? Like, that's burning. What I did. And so I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, okay, brain, work. So I turned the faucet off. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm grateful for, one, that I didn't electrocute myself again. And then number 2, dose. I looked at the back of the faucet, hey-ho, where in tiny, tiny letters it had the name of the faucet. I used that to reference in my email when I had ordered the faucet 5, 6, 80 million years ago. Did this, did that, look up, tick, tack, tack, called somebody in Canada. They overnighted me a brand new faucet.
Shut up.
They were so embarrassed. She said, that's a lifetime warranty. That should not happen. Oh, no. And she apologized that she couldn't pay for overnight shipping. She said, I can make this, I can have a new one for you next week at 0 charge. I can have it tomorrow, but I cannot, unfortunately, I'm not authorized to give you overnight shipping. Is that okay? And I'm like, take my money, please. I found a guy that I'd saved in a Facebook group from 1,000 years ago. And the plumber, so the thing arrived the next morning. A plumber arrived the next morning. It's fucking done. New faucet. And we have a second sink in the kitchen anyway, so we were only fatootzed by not.
So your husband couldn't install it?
I'm sure he could. No, that's not a doubt. I'm sure he could. Why? I'm sure I could have installed it. Again, I say to you, why? Why would I do this? Why? Why would I do this? Why would I do this? Do you know how much the plumber charged me?
How much?
$70. Why would I get under the sink myself?
Oh, it's an under the sink thing?
It's the entire kitchen faucet. Okay. He had to remove the old one.
Oh, right. The whole thing, the whole fixture.
Because the difference here is there was an internal piece where the two just sort of separated. And in normal times, the reason I called a plumber at all is I said, can't you just crimp them back together? And he said, I could, but that I wouldn't trust it.
It wouldn't last.
Why are you doing this? What's the matter with you, lady? Look at the price of this faucet. They're going to give you a new one. What's wrong with you?
We once got a couch delivered, and in delivering that couch, they broke the side of it, and they said, we'll take it back and fix it. And Stuart looked at them and said, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, fuck and you.
How about...
I don't want a fixed broken couch. I bought a new unbroken couch.
Yeah.
Let's send that back.
Let's start again.
Start over. So
we had some unscrupulous movers when we came here from another state and moved into Spectacular House. Yay. Not the first house that we've been in, and then this one. And they took our patio furniture and snapped. It was the not the real wrought iron, but the wrought iron-esque. You know those bistro tables that aren't the really heavy $1 million one? It was a nice one, but it wasn't like that. So they snapped the circle top off the base, and then they just set it up outside and left.
They laid it gently on top and walked away.
Yes! Yeah, it's like, maybe they won't notice if they put a drink down that it's like a fucking Frisbee on a toothpick. Bing! Yeah, we noticed.
You think?
Yeah, we
You
noticed.
think you noticed?
So grateful that I have a new faucet, exactly the same as the old faucet for the cost of overnight and a plumber.
Your water story. We were fixing our basement up because we redid the whole floor, and so now everything needs to go back where everything came from. So I'm moving like this arts and crafts supply thing, and this container of beads. Yeah, tiny beads for small bracelet making, like 5 bead things, fall all over the floor. And that was not one of my moments of gratitude. I looked at it, and I think it was your mother who posted on Facebook, you have coffee in your hand and it spills, and what spills out of it is what you put into it. And
joy
are you
and love and
right?
fantastic
So I looked
gratitude
at the floor
for the world.
I thought of your mom, and I said, "Well, isn't that just a bunch of joy that on the floor that the
Hi, Mom. Greetings from the U-Bend. Yeah.
Right. So there I am on the floor after
Feels
sweating
great.
from a
Spill some
workout,
coffee. Yeah.
picking up all of these beads, and then turning the little iRobot on and saying, "Have a good time," because I can't handle you. So we had a painter down there finish the walls and ceiling that broke with this leak, and he was here for a couple of days, and as he's leaving, I'm upstairs, Stuart's downstairs, and I hear Stuart say, "Can you come downstairs? He wants to say goodbye." All right.
Okay.
All right. So I come downstairs. He's so lovely, so nice. And he just said the really nicest things about us. He said, "I'm about to go work for a guy this afternoon in another town who thinks he's better than I am, who thinks he's like on a different level. And I want you to know, you've never made me feel that way." P.S. because we're not. You've always been so kind, meaning like fed him, whatever we're doing. He's working there. He's not part of our family, but you're welcome
This is
to whatever.
so great, creepy. Keep going.
You're welcome to whatever. Like I made a sheet of bacon, and I said, "Could I tempt you?" Or do you eat? Who doesn't eat bacon? So we just sat and had a little chat, and then he went back to work.
This is normal. This is what people do. I don't even. Okay, keep going.
That's what I think. So he, I guess, has had bad experiences with people for whom he's worked before. And he just said such lovely things. And Stuart and I were moved. Like, there we are all masked up in our own home, and he's leaving. And as he leaves, Stuart's like, "That was really nice." And I look over, and I have a couple of zippered pouches that have funny things written on them. One of them says, "Fuckity fuck fuck fuckity fuck."
Right.
One of them.
Here's where my shit goes.
One of them, and this is the one that was on the counter.
Yeah.
Emergency candy. This is the one that was on the counter. It said, "You had me at I hate people too."
Perfect. I know that one. Yep.
Right? So that's sitting on the counter. It has, a deck of cards, mints, whatever is sitting in there, my reading glasses, my go bag. Like, immediately grab it and go. And he puts down a book and leaves it for us and leaves the house. And the book says, "Jesus Calling."
Oh! That's okay.
Are you familiar?
Okay. No, isn't that the Bible? Good for you.
And I said,
fine.
"Look
That's
at
okay.
that.
That's
Look
okay.
how lovely that he thought so much of us, heathen Jews, that he likes us so much."
But hang on.
He likes us
Did
so
he
much.
know you were a Jew?
Yeah, he's been with us for years. He likes us so much that he wants to bring us into his religious family. Like, he likes us so much.
How does being with you for years, first of all, you keep talking about this guy like he's a cousin. He's a painter, no?
Yeah, but we've painted 2 houses with him. He's redone.
Right. You don't, is there any Jew in your house? Jewabilia? I don't know what you would call it. Is there any visible Jewness?
Judaica?
Yes. You don't have, I've been to Jewish friends' houses where they have a dedicated curio cabinet filled with their collection of menorahs. They have the mezuzah on the door. They have Other things, which names I don't know. Somewhere. I've been to many other people's houses where they have Christian stuff or they have Muslim stuff, right? We don't have any of that stuff. I'm sad to tell you, you wouldn't even know who we are in here because we don't have any pictures of ourselves. Like, we don't have pictures of anything or anybody. We're the incognito house.
But you have amazing art in your house.
Thank you.
Like,
We're
that
big
tells
on
you
art.
exactly who you are. Yeah.
We're crazy and poor. But tell me about the Jew. Like, sometimes you would wear the Star of David. I guess that's a giveaway.
Yeah, we do have menorahs around the house. We do have a mezuzah hanging.
Where?
Mezuzah's on the door.
Oh, is it on the front door?
Yeah, that nobody
Which
uses.
no one uses.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never seen it. All right.
Right, because you said you've been to my house half a dozen times and you've never been to the front of the house.
No, never. Who goes there? Nobody.
Kitchen, bedroom, deck.
Basement, outside.
Okay, outside.
Take that shit outside. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've been there. I know.
All of you outside. You know what I wore last night? We went out to dinner and I wore my fleece from New Year's Eve because it was a gorgeous night when it started, and the twinkle lights at the restaurant, outdoors. There was a wedding going on. We went out for a dear friend's birthday, and it was just fucking delightful. The food was great. The conversation was great. Somebody else was an idiot. You know how you're talking and sometimes you're like, oh, my husband was an idiot, and you look over at him and he rolls his eyes, I was an idiot. Or the other couple does it.
No, it's me. I'm usually the idiot. Yeah.
But at this conversation, it was another family all together. So we got to triangulate, and nobody at this table was the villain. It was just the best conversation. It was great. It was a great night. And then I rolled an ankle. But then it doesn't matter. You could still clip in on the bike with a rolled ankle. You're fine.
Grateful.
So then So then I zipped up and it said, 2016 New Year's Eve. It was nice.
And like
it
the
was,
4 card.
Yep. It was toasty and nice.
What are those
it was
called?
perfect.
The symbols of the cards. Why can't I think of any words today? What are those called? The houses? What are those called? Decks? Suits. The 4 suits.
Oh my God.
So it has time. It's very important. Everybody thinks that's more important than anything else that we've said on this whole show. And they're grateful that I came up with it. Grateful. Everybody's grateful.
Hashtag grateful. Don't you have those? Hashtag blessed. Hashtag grateful. Hashtag shut the fuck up, you stupid
I
bitch.
will say this about religious, really. I super support it. And sometimes I'm even jealous of people who have such an abiding faith that it's a real thread in their life that's, that they can keep coming back to. I don't want to hear have a blessed day at the drive-thru. I just don't. I don't want to have a blessed day. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Enjoy your day. Be grateful for today. Give me the meaning behind have a blessed day, because have a blessed day is meaningless as, go fuck a turkey. Like, it's just not something
to
that
you, yes.
It doesn't mean what you think it, like, what do you think I'm going to get out of have a blessed day? If I wasn't blessed before, I'll be blessed now. Like, that phrase for some reason is such a
like
it should not be. It should not be that.
Like
fetch
fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch a thing, Gretchen.
Stop trying to make fetch a thing. We're going to go fuck a turkey is our new.
I'm sure there's a phrase that's more common. That's just the one that came to me.
Really? Is that what just came to mind? To go fuck a turkey?
Well, yeah. I mean, right? In the drive-thru.
It totally
Where you
fits.
getting your smoked turkey leg? Oh, God.
Totally fits. I get it.
Oh,
dear
Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord.
As you well know, and we've discussed 100 times, my first answer to everything is no. That's just how I roll. The answer is no. So it used to be just Stuart, and he learned how to plant a seed and then let that seed germinate, and then it grows. And finally, most of the time I'll come around to yes if it's not ridiculous. In the times of COVID, it's harder to get a yes out of me, and no is absolutely the appropriate answer to come first. So I, am saying no a lot, and my kids are not fans of the no. I know you have a college student living in your house who you said to use your house as a come-goey. You're a grown-up now, make good choices, but still in my house, your choices could kill me. So I would rather not give you that freedom. I saw a news story on CNN about there's Miami University of Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they do that. There's Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Why can't you keep your states separate?
There's multiple Loyolas and they're not connected to each other. There's multiple Wash U's and they're not. It's like people.
Why are you confusing me?
Here's a hot tip. names are easy. There's lots of them. There's no limit. It's not like a .com. You could call it anything you fucking want. You don't have to take from someone else. And here's the other thing. Aren't you trying to teach us something? I'm going to plagiarize my name. That's how I'm going to start.
Let's kick it off.
Jiminy crack corn.
So,
all right.
And I don't care. So Miami University of Ohio had this story. I'm sure they're mortified. These kids on campus who had tested positive. Well, first they show the cops' camera. Did you see it?
I've seen many, so I'm not sure if this is the one. Please tell me this one, and I'll let you know if it differs.
So this police officer's cam, his chest cam, picked up a conversation where he talks to this kid and says, hey, he pulled over in the first place because there were so many kids gathering, so many college students. I say kids, they are college students, so they are over 18. Not 25, but they're over 18, and they're gathering, and the cop is like, yo, this is against all of our policies. It might be 7 feet off campus living, which is kind of campus living adjacent. And he said, can I see your ID? So he gives him his driver's license, and the cop scans it, and it says, hey, I haven't had this before, but it says here you tested positive for COVID.
Says here? On what?
On his scanner. He scans the license into his laptop that you see in every cruiser. It says this guy.
They take your license when you test positive for COVID? They don't take your... Okay, keep going.
Well, when I go to the local blood draw place, when my kid used to be on meds, they would scan my card, my driver's license, and you use your license for everything. If you go to register anywhere, they take your license and they scan the back of it.
Okay.
So he scans his card, and it says here, you tested positive for COVID. He said, yeah, I'm COVID positive. And he said,
what the fuck are you doing?
He said, shouldn't you be quarantining right now? And he said, I am. This, where you just pulled over, is my house. All right, well, first thing, you're standing in the middle of the fucking street, and you are not quarantining. Let me define quarantining for you if this seems to be, I don't know how good this Miami University of Ohio is if you don't know what quarantining means. So he says, yeah, this is my house. I'm quarantining. And he said, what about the 70 other people who were here? He said, yeah, I think about half of them also tested positive.
Right.
It's like a clusterfuck out there. So there's a $500 fine for gathering in that size of a group in the first place. I don't know anything about this university, and now I'm going to get... Well, at least I'll get hate mail. Like, at least I'll get some sort of email about, dear listener, don't hate. I don't know. I'm claiming I don't know. You can't hate people who say they don't know. But I'm telling you right now, the student is not making them look good.
Well,
is that like putting me in the bed with my brothers when they had the chicken pox?
No,
so I would
and
get it too?
In the early days before anybody even knew anything about this, and we were still coming to terms with what is it? Should we be afraid? Should we be canceling trips? Before that, early on, well, at least in terms of the American public, when we knew about that little, I was of the mindset for 30 seconds, I don't know, maybe it is like chicken pox. Let's gather. And the reality is it is not that way, in the sense that it is not a predictable response in the body. So every person, because we know so little about it, we can't predict what it's going to do. The virus does what it does. It's not mutating and morphing in each person, but because we know so little about the effects on the vast population, depending on your existing makeup, your genetic cocktail, when you get it, you could not get it at all. You could be completely immune and never get it. You could get, and then the laundry list of all the different, variables of how it could affect you. And what we're seeing with kids, so there is this false idea that we should just get it and be done. And there are a lot of people, including some with medical credentials, touting this theory. There's a majority against that theory with medical credentials, so I don't support the minority who think it's a good idea. And the reason is we're seeing kids in hospitals come in with strokes, and then get diagnosed with lingering COVID. So they don't even know how bad or what it's going to do to you, and heart attacks and death and all the rest of this. So it's not worth all of that. Yes, it is a massive variant of a cold, but that doesn't mean it is anything at all like what would happen. You can get the flu and die. It's very unlikely. You can get COVID and die. Statistically, it's still unlikely, but unfortunately, the more people who get it, the higher the viral load in your area, it's not something that you want to fucking mess with. So, I mean, the death percentages differ based on where you live. So in some parts of the world, in some parts of the United States, the death percentage is still in the point something. I think here in North Carolina, it might be 6%. It might be something like this because the ratio, it has to do with the ratio of if you get it, you will, the volume of people who get it when that's larger, of course, the death number will go down because that's how the numbers work. I'm already in an area where I know very little about it other than, do you want it? No. Do you want it?
I do like that your son is home because the new hotspot, for a while, it's always Florida. But then it was your area, the Kakalakis. And then it was Arizona, like it was spreading. It is college campuses. Well, you know where they have college campuses? Fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Fucking everywhere. My niece is sitting in her college dorm right now. A boy she kissed has it. A girl who was her roommate has it. She can't go home because she has no Wi-Fi at home and she can't do schoolwork. So she's a lone creature in her dorm on a college campus going to the cafeteria.
Right, where it is, where you're more likely to get exposed to it. So it's not great. And let me tell you, and even that is horrific. And please keep us updated on the status of your niece who has been directly exposed. And when she is diagnosed with this, we want to hear that she recovers.
Right.
So please, I'm not kidding around about that. So why would I be kidding around about that? So in my son's particular case, just to say it on the air if I haven't said it yet, he is home. They shut down campus life for everybody at school. You could request a waiver to stay if you had extenuating circumstances. He knows at least 3 people who did and who were approved. They're still on campus, and they have gotten in a car and driven out here to see him. So it's just the most ridiculous thing. Met in a coffee shop to go meet somebody else at another college campus that's open. So in any event, everybody in his individual dorm, they were all tested. They weren't all tested. Anybody who thought they were exposed or required a test was tested. There were 0 cases in his dorm.
Yay.
In the other dorms where there was any kind of a case, they require everybody to be tested. I know kids who lived in those dorms, they all tested negative, but still, they're all sent home. So at least we have this idea of the kids in his mental makeup. These art kids, they tend to stick together and they tend to isolate in like weird places. They go sit in a corner like gargoyles in a coffee shop. They're in the studio at 2 a.m. So I mean, they're all over each other like clusters of cells anyway, and drink blue punch and be stupid and all the rest of this stuff. So whatever. I think that he is a high risk individual because he's been at college. Now he's home. I should track the days and see. We thought about, do we get him a test before letting him in? Into our house, we just let him in. He has less exposure than we do going to the supermarket anymore, right? In terms of the exposure he brings to the house. Having said all that, get how bad it is on this campus. So I believe it's ECU. I believe it's Eastern Carolina University. It might be UNCW. I'm pretty sure it's ECU, which is another art school, predominantly on the coast. They, in this past week, said, we're gonna go to all remote. We're gonna shut down the campus. Okay, we've already been remote learning, but we're gonna shut down the campus. So here's what this means. Right now, if you are in a double, if you're in a room with a roommate, you two decide who's going home because one of you can stay. Ha ha!
Oh my God!
Can you imagine anything more fucked than that?
You two decide.
Two decide. One of you can stay,
and we boot one of you.
We're going to singles. Fight it out. It's ECU Fight Club. I mean, my fucking God. Can you imagine anything worse than that? Of all the scenarios for how fucked this is, that one to me, and I really hope it is ECU. If I'm giving him a bad rap, I will research it and correct it. I give full negative finger wags to whichever college it is that's doing it, but I'm pretty sure it's fucking ECU. Can you believe that shit?
That's crazy. I hated my freshman roommates. I would have fucking thrown down with them in a second and had that single.
Well, the good news for us is Rocco adores his roommate, but since he has come home, he has also been very vocal about, he's a terrible roommate. And I was like, what? He goes, it's disastrous. I'm kind of glad that, and I'm like, what? He's like, he's a great guy. We get along great, super friends, but he's crazy and he's not good for me as a roommate.
Well, that's funny because we always say, you don't need to be friends. He just needs to be a good roommate. Like, that's what we
it's nice
always
when
say
they're
to all these
both.
freshmen going. You don't need to be super tight with your roommate, but you need to respect each other and be a good roommate to each other.
It was difficult in this way. His roommate was 100% asynchronous, which for people totally outside of this Zoom fiasco means that all of his online learning, even though he was living in a dorm with my son, happened on his own schedule. He was not required to meet any sort of timetable. It was effectively, here's all your coursework, see you at the end of term. See you at the end of term.
There's no see you at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays,
I
nothing
think one
like
of the classes had a weekly component where he had to check in weekly, but everything else was, you're in college now, get it done by November, whatever, and see ya. So he would sleep all day until 6 p.m., wake up, run around, do some nonsense, stay up until 3 a.m.
He's
or
a
not get up
vampire.
at all. Yeah, and so here's my kid physically walking to classes, having to be awake, trying to eat foods, breakfasts, and then also seeing somebody who's up all night playing Foursquare in the I don't know. So whatever.
On
whatever.
that remote learning, I wonder. I hope he doesn't have to go back to that situation. Let's start there. I hope he can pull out of that. He moved out completely, so it's possible he'll just get a new assignment come January, correct?
We have no expectations about the spring semester, and I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not thinking about the spring semester. I'm thinking about the next 3 days, and that's all I can do.
3 days.
That's
at
all
a
I can
time.
do.
I like
they've
it.
given
You're in
me.
a
They've
special
given
program.
not me. They've given my son's account, his billing account, a refund, a prorated refund for the food and the lodging that had been paid for this semester, and that's it.
Thank you.
So there it sits, and when we need to stick it someplace else, we will.
We are on Microsoft Teams, and the stories we're hearing from teachers and from friends who are teachers online are that, they have a new view where you can see all the students like they're sitting in stadium seating. So you could see all the kids, and they're told they have to have their cameras on. In high school, not as much, but
that's a real problem all over the place, but I want to hear what you're saying. So let's come back to that part.
So for this kindergarten, first grade class, a couple of moms show up instead of the kids because the kid's still sleeping and she wants to let him rest. And parents are so overly involved, inappropriately involved in their kids' everything that people are getting resumes that their parents write for jobs. That parents are, I had a friend where my kids went to preschool. Her brother is the dean of students, I think at Brandeis University.
Yeah, nice.
And he got a phone call from a parent of a student saying, my son's not feeling well. The grade he got is, you're calling the dean of students to argue your collegiate son's grade? Parents need to separate. As of, I think it was 8th grade, 7th grade, my kids were their own advocates in school. You were given the assignment. If you can't do it, you need to talk to the person who gave you the assignment. I'm your mommy. When you come home with something bloody, I will cover it up. I'll spore in you and I will push you right back out. No. How come does it start in kindergarten? Here's my question, I guess. Does it start in kindergarten, showing up to the Zoom meetings for school and taking notes in your 3rd grade class because you had to, because you needed a nap, because you were tired? What? Where does it start and how do we get it to end? Because we are absolutely creating an entire generation of humans that need their mommies to write a letter to their boss at work and say, my son couldn't come in today. No, you need a doctor's note. You don't need a mommy's note. What is going on and how do we peel back from it? I know I'm on top of my kids, but their job is school and their job is not to kill me. So those are the 2 things that they need to be in charge of. To see a parent's face show up in a Zoom meeting, I don't even know what I would say.
Well, first of all, you're full of shit. So let's start there. Because you are more than on top of your kids. You would never attend class on behalf of your child.
Never. You're right. I would
so
never.
Those are 2 different things. The thing that you're describing are 2 totally different things. You are on a continuum where you are at the tippity top of the range of being involved in your kid's life, where other people who are not involved at all would look at you and say the ugly things, helicopter, have the conversation that we're having right now. The reality is there's a whole separate continuum for these I don't even know what they are, success wellness coaches that have masqueraded as children's parents who have decided that they're going to show up and, my child needs to sleep. So instead of accepting that my child would be absent, right? If you're a parent and your child needs to sleep, then your child needs to sleep. We're done here.
Right.
You don't have to show up and take notes
I don't
on,
want him to miss
on
the
who
topic.
brought a cat to school today, right? What are you, what? Come on. That's a different kind. That's not even helicopter parent. That's like, I don't even know what the word is.
There's a codependence there because I'm assuming that this student is like, Mom, I need you to take notes for me, or I need you to write my professor, or I need you to talk to the dean about, or I can't go to work on Thursday because I have something I need to go to.
Well, here's the thing.
Can you call my boss?
I do a terrible job as a parent. I know that. And the only saving grace that I have, no, it's a complete fact. I do a terrible job as a parent. And the only saving grace is that I don't like it. So I try to improve, right? That's my level. I know I'm doing a bad job.
We do
so
that
I'm
on
working
everything.
to get better, right? And that's where I am. Could I do better? Yes. If I made it, this is going to sound so ugly. It's just the fucking truth. If I made it my job to be the parent, I know I would be better. But it's sort of 100%. My job is to love my kids and to make sure that they're protected and a part of this family and give them the tools that they need to succeed and be there for them when they don't. That's it. And I'm trying to do that better every day. And I fuck it up every day, right? I haven't done anything perfectly. I don't know why I would do this perfectly. In any event, that's the heart of it. But when you think of something like a job, that's where it crosses over. And honestly, it's difficult to separate the two. When you think of your employment, you have a set of expectations that your contribution appears to control. There are always things that are outside of your control, but it appears in your job that there is a process, that if you step in this order, that you appear to get an outcome that's predictable. And I think that's what is guiding this. If we just show up to class, if we just do it the right way, and this is another opportunity where we're all in a Wild West moment, which can be great and can be awful. And so the Wild West of this moment means there has to be a parenting Olympics where we win. And the parents who are sitting in the second grade classroom are vying for Olympic medals. That's what they're doing. And they don't realize that that's not the Olympic sport that anybody is competing in. This is the wrong
You're alone.
thing.
You're not alone, but there's no trophy at the end of this. You're not meddling in this.
Yeah.
You're just meddling.
See what she did there, gang.
Do ya?
See what she did
Do ya?
there.
All right. I heard a news story before we get to my big story of friendship, which is actually your story. But I heard a news story this week, and I want to know what you would do. I'm going to vomit. I can't even say it. I read it, and then I heard it on Howard Stern, and I'm like, all right, that's twice. I have to bring it up. Wait. So a woman walks into her house, goes upstairs to her bedroom, and finds her husband and his mother having sex.
That's not true. That's not true.
Unfortunately, if you follow the link I put in Trello that says not Florida man.
I did. And I saw a link, and I thought, I'm not even going to touch it.
Because it is not a Florida man, because this is absolutely something you would think happened in Florida. And I'm going to tell you, a Massachusetts woman.
Is there anything other than abject sadness at the end of this story? This is horrific. Okay, keep going.
It's a Massachusetts woman and her adult son are facing serious jail time after the man's wife caught the two having sex. Okay, first of all, what
in the name of Mackenzie Phillips is going on in this state? That is sickening.
What are you talking about? 64-year-old mother, 43-year-old son. They pled guilty to incest. What would you do? You walk in the house. You see this
I don't
scene.
even have a construct. I can't even, in my head, in truth, there is no analogy. Like, I don't even feel it. It is so other that I'm trying to imagine what that would feel like. In my husband's case, there is absolutely,
right.
but it doesn't even, He's more likely to be common. What's a contemporary? To be a lion tamer. Like there's not to be one of those people that gets killed by the husband.
He's more
contemporary
likely
reference.
to
What's
play with his
reference?
eyeballs and eat orange slices than he is.
It's just. Where do you even?
Do you want to hear their excuse?
That it's been going on forever?
No. Do you want to hear their excuse?
Sure.
The son says, "I don't know. It just happened."
Ew.
Right. And the mother, on the other hand, she told the officer that the pair had become closer over the last several months, and sex occurred after they started kissing. Right. So there's
not enough jaw muscle to move my jaw back into place to have anything to say.
Like a snake.
Here's the thing.
Amy's jaw just detached.
Here's the thing. It is so outlandish and not believable that I'm still in this realm of it feels like a totally inappropriate but somehow dark humor joke. And the reality is it ain't none of those things. This is not, kids, this is not what you do. Game of Thrones listeners, this is not what you do. This is not this is not fan fiction. You don't do this. You don't do this.
If
there
you
are
do this,
plenty
you're
of
doing
other
the
fish
wrong
in the
thing.
sea.
Right.
This is not good parenting. This is not pleasing mommy. This is not any of the things that you want. It's not even funny. And from a trigger warning, I apologize. This is super gross. And if you've lived through it, this is not what you deserve to have happen to you. And hopefully it's not happening to you right now.
Seek help.
Make it stop.
Let's get help. Let's get help for
we'll
you.
We'll find a number. We'll put a number up. This is not the right part of the relationship. Do not.
Check
Exit,
notes.
stop, lift, move, walk out, turn around, other way, keep going, lock the door. No thanks. Block calls. Stop. End. No. Gross. Super gross. Why do you find these things? Why do you listen to that man? Why do you listen to that man? He's so gross. And my only reference from Howard Stern is my idiot husband and my idiot friend, Green's Burrito, talking about Peloton. And now Howard Stern has got the hookup on which trainers have the biggest boobs. And that's what Howard is good for. And look at your face. Like, Howard Stern is giving trainer recommendations. Evidently, there are some stunning Peloton.
Yeah, there are. And I don't like riding with them because.
Well, surely there's a good looking dude.
I don't want to talk about Peloton. I ride. That's all I have to say.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What I want to tell you, I'm going to let you have the last word on how fucking disgusting that is. It's
fucking disgusting, and I don't listen. We're gonna. But here's the thing about Peloton. I have to cut in because I thought this when I saw a couple pictures of you recently, and I'm thinking it again today. This morning, I was moving around, running late. Fortunately, the sink didn't break again. Yeah. So here I am, and it's hot, and I'm wearing clothes that I wish were smaller, meaning, more freeing. But I didn't want to come in here with a shirt with no sleeves on. I just didn't feel comfortable. And meanwhile, here's Tank Toppy sitting across from me in this beautiful little tank top. Oh, you look like you've got this glow from your beach. We've gone nowhere.
You mean the workout I just did?
Honey, I look so sallow. We haven't seen the sun. We haven't been anywhere. And so all of that is visible on me. And in the same glorious way, the opposite is visible on you. You've got this beautiful skin color and skin tone. And dare I say, you posted a photo of yourself recently, and it was like cutting off your head so you could just look at your tits on you had words on your shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was mostly your neck and your chin. And I was like, damn, she's got a little fucking toothpick neck and all kind of tight ass chin. If you do one of those commercials where they say, look at my chin. I've been rubbing it with the rose quartz sculptor. You look really good. You look really good. Your psychological collapse induced Peloton riding is really working for you.
So thank you, Mom, for fucking with her head.
Thank you, Mom. I'm so grateful for driving me into an incessant exercise rage.
Thanks, Mom. You're a true friend. and I would like you, Amy, to tell me what a real friend is.
Well, I told you a couple of weeks ago that I was having a super low moment, and it was like crazy crisis, very low. What is happening? I'm looking around, I'm crying. I just need to break out of this thing. And by crisis, I mean, it was like there was 3-4 things that went wrong and I couldn't do anything about them. And I was just at the frustration zenith, that kind of a crisis. So I reached out to these two friends, and it was a drop everything, must see you kind of a moment, because they have had similar crises to the ones I was experiencing at that moment. That's specifically why I called those two friends. And it took about 40 minutes for us to concoct a way where we could barely see each other because it didn't really fit with their schedules that day. And then I used that to hang on to for a couple of hours. And then when we got to about 20 minutes before, I got the ghost from one and I got the text from the other saying, let's just reschedule.
No.
So that's what happened. So that's why I was so upset. And then the very next, and then I just moved on from it. So it was really, really tough. And you know what? The answer is, that's life. If it was that bad, I could have gotten in the car and driven to their house. I could have sought somebody else out. But it was just like, I latched onto, I know I need you for this specific thing. I've been there for you. I've dropped everything for you before. It's really hard for me to ever ask for anything like that.
Yeah.
And then specifically to ask, like, you don't know how bad this is. Let me really ask you. And to get a and then a no fucking sucked. In this, and I didn't even want to. I mentioned it, but then I didn't even want to talk about it here because it's not their fucking fault. They have lives. I also clearly didn't make it known how bad it was. They're the kind of people that would have, hang on, let me leave the boardroom or do whatever I need to do. So whatever. But still, it really hurt. And since then, nothing. Except I did get a mistaken text from one of those friends saying, hey, and starting a group text with somebody else, one other person, because I think, God bless her, she has me as the wrong Amy, which happens a lot. Yeah. So and then the other friend was like, who's that person? Did you
Who's
think
that
that's
number?
Amy?
I don't know.
Did you think that's Amy? Yeah. So and that conversation totally stopped. And then I expected a phone call or maybe like another text. And then I thought I could reach out and text her and tell her, haha, whatever. These are fucking, I'm friends with people. I'm still friends with people. I need the grace so much more than anybody else. I'm happy to give it out. But it did hurt. It stung, right? And it led me to this article, the article found me. You know how the internet loves to, you're thinking a thought.
Mother
Let me
has
deliver
sex
to you
with
16,000.
son. Yeah.
Yeah, don't think those thoughts. Don't get
Shit
that. That's
finds
not the
me.
feed. You're on the wrong feed. So I got this article that says, I saw two things back to back. And the first thing that it said is, research confirms that loneliness is as damaging to your health as smoking. And I got that on the same day that I was having this. That's right. Clinically speaking, loneliness is defined as if you do not have two friends you can rely on in a moment of need. And of course I do. I have millions more than two. And these two, I know I can rely on, but for whatever reason on that day I couldn't. And I was just like, are you fucking clinically serious? Are you? Jeez. Right. So anyway, I was like, fuck. And then over the next day I was like, well, what are you doing to call them up and tell them this and solve things? And I didn't do any of these things. So it's all fine and it'll sort it out. And it's, honestly, COVID and all the rest of it, let it roll. But the funniest thing is, then Chrissy Teigen, your friend, starts posting all this stuff. I had no idea how much friendship drama she goes through, where she posted a lot of stuff publicly, which is the only way that I know her, saying, I didn't want to post these pictures. I didn't want to post this or post that because of all the vitriol that comes at me and people are so mean and it makes me feel so bad about myself. And then I felt worse about myself for not being able to post things that used to make me happy because of what people would say. And then I had to get over it. And she's like, and honestly, you guys, I'm still really nervous about this, but I'm going to post it anyway because I want to share my life with people who I care about. And if other people want to care about me that's great. So, and I'm also embarrassed at how much I'm affected by when people make me feel good on social media and how much I'm affected when people make me feel bad on social media.
I think that's a really key point. I don't like that about myself, that other people have the ability to raise or lower. You love it when they raise you up. I posted last night, I posted a picture before we went out to dinner, basically of Stuart and myself. And I said, look, if you haven't seen us in 7 months, this is what we look like.
Beautiful picture.
Here's a picture of us. And feel free to check on us sometime soon because we really have been the only faces we're seeing for 7 months. So just drop us a line. Like, don't forget we're here. Just because I post a picture of a t-shirt that says something funny or I need that t-shirt. Like, I need things to keep me. But just check on us every once in a while. So, yeah, I definitely got a swell from you guys look great. And I don't like the I was on Twitter the other day and I thought, what a horrible place to be. What a disgusting group of people. I think Monica Lewinsky posted, I'm trying to decide between a Tesla and a Subaru, right?
She did.
So then people said, oh, you fucking like they just ripped her apart. You don't think this bitch has had enough in her life? And when I say bitch, it's with all respect.
Right.
She's in my pod, so I how dare you? And then they just eviscerated her for saying, I'm working 3 jobs and you're talking and complaining about you. All right, first of all, pick on someone else because you don't think this woman has had enough in her life that she had. And then everybody tore that guy apart. And I'm like, yeah. And then I thought, I hate this place. Get me off Twitter.
Right.
Can she do that?
I would not engage in this kind of stuff in real life in high school when it was happening or grade school. So why on earth would I seek it out? And I truly don't. But to get back to this whole friend thing, that was the idea of you need 2 who you can rely on. And the reason I picked those 2 is this next article that I got relates to the Chrissy Teigen thing, which is I'm reading from an article here. The highest honor of friendship isn't getting invited to that party or out on a girls' weekend. And then it goes on and on. The real honor of friendship is being invited into someone's real. It's getting an invitation into the nitty-gritty, the not-so-pretty, the hard stuff, the vulnerable stuff, the weird stuff, the unpolished stuff. It's being welcomed into a home where the sink is full of dishes, laundry is covering the couch, entering the places of heartache and pain. It's being invited into the hospital, blah, 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 when your friend is wearing the mesh underwear from her birth. How many of us have done that, right? It's sitting cross-legged in old sweats on the floor and laughing till you cry, carrying around secrets, la, 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 la. Okay, so these 2 friends, we have shared a reel, right? And I know now that this was an opportunity for me to say, I've got another reel and I need to not only share it with you because I felt that I needed to connect, frankly, but also because I knew you guys would accept and understand I'm now going through something that you were going through and we need to connect in a very real way. And because of the way the world turned that afternoon, they weren't there for me. And that was so much more gutting than I can even express. And it's the kind of thing where I now know that I don't have relationships that don't have the real. And that's my trouble. I don't have surface relationships with people. Every single person that I come into contact with, even people I don't see anymore, I'm going to call them dates. In 2 dates, they're telling me about what's going on intimately in their marriage. They're telling me about the deepest, darkest secrets from the past. They're telling me about the problem they can't solve. We're in it. We're in it up to the tits and past, right? I'm the first call for so many people. I don't know. I take it as a privilege. I don't seek it out, but I don't know why it keeps happening. And then when I need to make that first call to a broad spectrum of folks, right? I guess I need to realize that, and I've told you this before over the many years, this connection that we have with the D-sharps, of which you are one, this connection that we don't make that face. This connection that we have, don't make that face. Right? This sisterhood, the depths of it, right? In all the good, bad, ugly, all the way around and back again. That to me is what friendship is. And I cultivate that in the rest of my life. And I sometimes forget that I think of myself as I like to pretend my spirit animal is Drew Barrymore because I pretend that she does this too, right? I get really deep, really fast, really intimate with people. And then I'm surprised that we don't have 26 years of trust.
No, that's true. And it's
like,
wonderful.
Wait, how did we have this? And so I don't even think along the lines of, maybe they didn't want to share that with me, and now that they have, they're embarrassed. Or maybe they just needed to share that with me, and now it's gone, and I'm the symbol. I've had some people who are alcoholics in my life where the idea was, now that you know, I can't be around you because you equal alcoholism to me, even though I had nothing to do with it, right? So it's like there's all this extra stuff. But in any event, another grateful is I do have a cluster of friends that is in this real area, but I don't think of them as being in this real area because I see them a lot. And the depths of the shit that we have to deal with, we're all dealing with kind of at the same time. So it doesn't feel like huge, crazy, life-changing trauma, even though it probably is at the moment. But, does that make any sense what I'm saying? I'm leaving a lot of nouns out. Okay, go.
No, it absolutely does. But I also want to tell you, you can avoid, and you touched on it, you can avoid that gutting feeling of nobody's there for me. Do you remember when I told you when my parents went through something and they both couldn't walk and people gave them gift cards to places and they were hundreds of dollars poured in for food, for whatever services. How do you feel, Mom? I feel obligated was her answer, right?
I know, and every time.
So, but
hot tip, that's not the feeling.
That's not what you're supposed to be feeling. You can get your reciprocal feeling, but you have to, they didn't realize you were asking on the level you were asking.
I don't really
you
know
have
how
to be
to
clearer.
Do that, I guess.
Okay, but you have to be clearer in your request for time. And I really need 5 minutes is a good way to. It won't be long. I really need 5 minutes.
Well, I
and
did
coming
that.
From you,
I did that. I went that far. It was crystal clear. It has to be today. It has to be you. Let's. And then it was like, it's just not going to work out. And you know what? I know what it's just not going to work out means. I have that. I exactly know what that means. So this is not about judgment. This was really about, why did I not think to call 2 other people? Why did I not think?
Didn't you?
I don't know. I just wallowed in the idea that it's got to be you 2 and it's got to be today. And if that doesn't happen, then I will continue being upset.
I think they were easy access. In theory, they were easy access. Whereas
it was sort of a logical connection from the thing that I was working through. They were intimately connected to working through that same thing. So
right,
it just
so you
made
didn't have
sense.
to explain anything. You didn't have to give background.
Well, and I sort of already knew the response because I have done. Oh, here, I have done. Yay! So, and there's also a convenience too, where the way that their families and their kids were situated, it didn't even occur to me, but somewhere in the subconscious, they didn't really have anything going on that day. There was no, you know what I mean? There should have been a lot of time. It just happened that on that day, there wasn't a lot of time. So it doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's about, that's what happened a couple of weeks ago. It was really hard. It still feels kind of icky, but I also see this pattern in my life where I've done that a lot, where I'll end up feeling like I'm really, really close with somebody, that they've trusted me with a whole lot of stuff. And then I don't even think about starting to trust. I always trust people. So I share, like, we just have this reciprocal sharing. And then I'm like, oh, wait, now I'm getting screwed because I shared with you. And my only choice in this is a totally different situation with somebody who kind of betrayed that trust. Then it comes down to the real frustration for me is I don't ever want to betray. I can't be the person who spills secrets or tells the thing that's going to, let everybody know the true colors, this kind of a thing. And I'm thinking more of a work situation now. So it's like, how do you get out of that? You either become the thing that you don't like, or
by being crickets.
You sit in the situation that you don't like. So anyway, having friends to go to, being in this case where you're all working, and none of us are equipped to deal with this. Even the ones who think they're equipped, even the fucking psychiatrist. Your husband's an emergency room doctor. He's not fucking equipped to deal with my medical situation. He might think he is, but I got news for you. You're not. No one person is able to address all this. So a lot of the friend thing is just sitting there in the moment.
And being supportive.
I'm not calling you to fix it. If it could be fixed, I would have fucking fixed it.
If it could be fixed, I would have asked a man or done it myself. Because men want to fix things and women want to. Yeah, because men see black and white and they want to fix things, and women think differently and they want to talk to you about how you got where you are and how you feel about where you are and what's going on where you are. Tell me about where you are.
Doesn't mean they can fix it though. So
no,
that's why I laughed. If I wanted a response of you trying to fix it, I would have asked a man.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Well, I'm glad.
Right. I too am grateful for that group of friends. I know that we are the sisterhood of the traveling bodysuit. I mean, we really are there for each other in wild crisis, but we're a Marco Polo away. And I do, however, make sure there are no dirty dishes in my sink. But that just means, because I know my reels will come in and be like, well, let's clean these dishes. And I'll be like, I don't want you fucking cleaning those dishes. I want you to sit with me in my feelings and my thoughts and my silliness and my joys and my fears.
Who would come in and say, I'll clean your dishes?
You would.
I would not.
You would walk right into the kitchen and be like, "Oh, what are we making? Let's do this." And you
Well,
would,
if I'm cooking something, I will clean the kitchen first. But I'm not cleaning it because you didn't clean them. I'm cleaning it because we're going to fucking eat. Get it straight.
Okay. Good to know. I will make sure the next time you come, I will have a mission for you to clean and a sink full of dirty dishes.
I'm not cleaning it.
We don't have dirty dishes in our sink. We have a dishwasher.
I know it.
There's
I
no
know
reason
it.
for it.
I already know this.
We have if the dishwasher breaks, we'll talk again. But until then, there's really no reason for this discussion.
When the dishwasher breaks.
When the faucet explodes.
When the sink's full.
Oh, see, there's when the dog bites. Yeah, there's a musical in everything.
There's a musical in everything.
And now you just switched my musical from Anything Goes. So that's all right. That's fine. I'm good
You
with
should
it.
be grateful.
I am always grateful. And another thing I learned this week is to breathe. That was new to me.
Yeah.
I find that every time there's a stress or something going on, naturally I stop breathing. I just hold a breath. And that makes everything worse because your body is then reacting without oxygen to whatever.
Yeah, I think oxygen is something you need.
Kind of crucial. It's just a thought. So yeah, and it was a Peloton instructor that did teach me to breathe. So
see, with boobs or with a dongle.
She's fucking hot, but I don't think she's stacked. I mean, I don't. Stuart is concerned that I will leave him for her. That's his one concern.
Yeah, that's his concern. Please, this
know.
Man. I don't think we have any of these problems.
If she called, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hey, dear listener, if you want to talk to us about anything we've talked at you about for the last hour, please find us at Listen Brilliant or email us brilliantobservations@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, and we really could not stress that enough. Are you a real friend of ours? Because if you are, you'll write. And if you're not, we'll know. So you might become less of a dear and maybe just listener. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.